Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down. Bitch, you ain't no Barbie, I see you work at Arby's. Never too super silent, hurry up, I'm starving. Gnarly, radical, on the block I'm magical. See me at your college campus, baggy full of Adderalls. Call me if you need a fix, call me if you need a boost. See them other chicken heads, they don't ever leave the coop. I'm in the coupe cruising, I got the stolen plates, serving all the fiends over there by the Golden Gate. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down.
Do you agree that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, deadbeat dadism, white supremacism, and all the other isms? Destiny, that's a woman's name. You were raised by your daddy and mama. That makes you half man and half woman. You are a beta. You're not a real man, beta. I just have one question for ya, beta. There's just one thing I want to know. Destiny, do you love all people? Do you really love the blacks? Destiny, do you love black people? Why can't you just answer the question? Destiny, do you love all people?
System, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up N word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. My children aren't going hungry. I'll do it. I'll drink your blood. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like size it up? I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop his ass up, size it up. I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, oh, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
It's another Big Red broadcast. Let's go. Hey, everybody. How's it going? How you doing? It is August 18th. Oh my God, it's halfway through August. Make it stop. The summer. And it is a kind of midday here in Montreal, Quebec. How you doing, chat? How's it going, everybody? I'm Be Weird. I'm here to deliver the news with a needlessly happy perspective on increasingly grim information. Well, wowee, everybody! You're here for it. I'm here for it. It's gonna be good. And we listening, we jamming to Party Boy 69. Always a great way to build hype. But yeah, how you doing? Hope you caffeinated. Hope you're feeling good. It's kind of like it's gonna be like a rainy day, and I got like a short stream today just because there's like a meeting between poets and organizers in Montreal that I don't want to miss, so I'm gonna be there for that. And also, in other streamer news, there is a new subscriber. But the alert isn't working. I don't know what's going on. It just isn't showing up on the dashboard, but I see it there on Twitch. So thank you so much to Odin1414 for the sub. At tier 1, let's go. All right, everybody. So I mean, look at that. We're more than halfway to the sub goal. Can you believe it? More than halfway to the sub goal. I mean, I didn't put a time limit on it just because I wanted to see if I could even hit a sub goal. And honestly, doing pretty good. I appreciate so much support. It's awesome to see. And yeah, what's going on with me? I'm furiously working on new music, trying to revive old ones that I've lost, playing a lot of Tom Waits. I gotta get my stuff together. I'm officially on vacation. Class is finally over. This zombie of a course that would never die. It's done. It's over. And we're gonna blast off. We blasting off on Twitter and Facebook. I don't really know how to advertise myself on Instagram and TikTok. Like, I guess I really gotta up my game in those two regards. But I can't imagine spamming my Insta with constant promotions that I'm going live. It's gonna be super annoying. I should probably just figure out like I'm live these days, most likely alive these days, and just see who shows up. But yeah, share the tweet out if you can. I'd appreciate it. Other than that, what's good? Yeah, I gotta work on polishing a song off. I've got another one in the works. And I'm not too sure what the third song is going to be on the EP at this point. If I'm going to do another song on piano or a song on guitar. I wouldn't mind doing I Don't Care, which is a really lovely song. I feel like that really showcases, I don't know, just sort of the type of music I make. You know, a lot of finger picking, strumming, flamenco, that kind of jam. So yeah, let's go descend. Let's go descend into hell, everybody. Let's go find out what's going on south of the border in the normal country, where there's normal news about normal people. It's gonna be nothing but positive vibes. And I really should figure out that. Maybe I'll work on it today in the background and try to figure out that graphic of us descending into hell. I just don't know how I would control it with like my keyboard or something. I have to write some code maybe? I don't know. Alrighty then. So let's get into the news. We're gonna start off with a bit of fluff, and we'll eventually get into our main story. Let's see here. We've got... Oh yeah, I thought this was just a good little bite-sized piece. Gonna switch on over. All right. Young people watch almost 7 times less TV than over 65s. It's over, everybody. Game over. TV is officially dead. It is no longer necessary for young people to have TV. We got our TikToks on our phones because we can't afford cable packages or TVs. I mean, literally a TV and a phone are like the same cost around there. Why would you get a smart TV when you can get a smartphone? We spend about 16 to 24, so young people, which is not me, spend 53 minutes watching TV a day, a 2/3 decrease in the past 10 years. Meanwhile, those 65 and over spend just under 6 hours on average watching TV daily. 5 hours. I mean, I consume easily that amount of media, but a lot of it's gaming and like streamer content, YouTube clips, and I don't know. So that's interesting. I really think this is, like, I've heard discussions about how this affects news consumption, especially I think the country was Russia in this case, where like the younger generation, like maybe a third of the generation, all got their news from the internet, from like alternate sources, and then the older generation, like 2/3 of the population, got it from TV, and so they were way more like in line with the state propaganda, like RT's versions of stuff. And so you had this huge disagreements happening in classrooms where young people were like, what are you talking about? That's not what happened. Like directly countering what their teachers were saying was fact, was like geopolitical truth. So yeah, well, that was kind of interesting. People also are subscribing to less stuff because they're poor. Awesome. Another good sign. I mean, it makes sense. If I remember during the Great Depression, like it was like theaters, they actually did pretty well because people still needed some sort of entertainment. Oh, don't do that. So this is a strange story. And maybe we come back to it. We've got ourselves. Oh yeah, are we already at birth control? Oh yeah, this was a really interesting post. The rise of Andrew Tate is ruining my freshman boys, posted in r/teachers. Oh no, everybody. Andrew Tate is having a real world effect. Oh gosh. This is not good. It's not good, I tell ya. What are we gonna do? So this is from a user, Reddit user Palmlily. Have y'all heard of a sexist, misogynist, disgusting, exclusive human being known as Andrew Tate? If you watch this broadcast, we covered him extensively, and it was terrifying. I did a poll with the YouTubers, all the YouTube chatters who showed up that day. Do you believe women and men are equal? And 2/3 of them said no. Not a good day. Not a good day for all of men. It's all of mankind. All right, back to this post. Well, if you haven't heard of him, I promise you, all your middle school and high school boys have, and they're addicted to his content. Just this week, I had to have 6 conversations with families about their sons saying shit like, women are inferior to men, and women belong in the kitchen, Miss Blank. Crazy. Not only are they making these misogynistic claims in class, but are literally refusing to do assignments if it's sourced from a woman. This is unhinged, man. This is like Taliban stuff. I had 3 boys refuse to read an article by a female author because, quote, women should only be housewives. What the fuck? My guys have never, like, read Frankenstein, one of the greatest pieces of literature. But when I say, quote, I'm a teacher and here teaching you, the cognitive dissonance kicks in and they start saying, yeah, but teaching is a woman's job. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Question. 5 of 6 parents, all mothers, were mortified when I discussed their comments. The other dad said, wow, he isn't wrong. Oh, jeez. Jail. Straight to jail, everybody. Put that man in jail. 2 are immigrant mothers, and they cried on the phone when I shared a video of Andrew Tate that their sons kept referencing and translated the content to them. And this particular video was talking about his webcamming business, i.e. human trafficking women. Yeah, if you don't know, Andrew Tate is not a good person. Y'all, it's been only 2 weeks of school, and these young boys are losing it. I've never heard such vitriol from young boys since this Andrew Tate guy came on the scene. The rise of incel and misogynistic rhetoric is terrifying. And then they had to lock the thread because of a brigade. Oh my god, the Tate stands. The taint stains. Ugh. Awful. Absolutely brutal. What an awful post. Just in my feed, just in my timeline. This is why I subscribe to r/teachers, because they're truly in the trenches of the American political experiment, and the Canadian one too, I guess. Our schools are, yeah, our schools. Oh, jeez. You guys want to hear about Matt Gaetz's very creepy behavior? Matt Gaetz is doing some odd stuff, everybody. Quote, would he even pass a background check? Floridians balk at Matt Gaetz's scheduled event with school kids. Everybody, Gaetz is... He's trying to stand in front of kids and talk to them, everybody. He's under federal investigation in connection to the sex trafficking of a minor. Allegations he denies. A group, largely made up of local women, is furious he's still allowed to meet with kids at a Niceville, Florida high school. It's called Niceville. Oh god, Florida. Oh, Florida. Florida. Oh boy, Florida. What is happening? Yeah, he Venmo'd payments. I'm just like, this is for tuition and books, I swear. He Venmo'd minors. What the allegedly. Matt Gaetz, the Florida firebrand, under a federal investigation for the alleged sex trafficking of a 17-year-old girl, has sparked a local furor over his upcoming appearance at a high school in Okaloosa County, Florida, where he is expected to speak directly with minors about their career aspirations in the military. Okay. Not sussy. Not sussy at all. Most of the uproar appears to be led by Women Against Matt Gaetz, or WAMJ, a 10,000 strong Facebook group of mostly women who have, quote, had enough of Congressman Matt Gaetz and his offensive aggression towards women, end quote, and are speaking out against Gaetz's Tuesday visit at Niceville High School, a top-performing high school in the district. While a grand jury is reportedly investigating allegations of sex trafficking a minor, quote, it is just inappropriate for a sitting United States congressman to engage with young people, especially young women, said Samantha Herring, the founder of Women Against Matt Gaetz, or WAMJ. Per Herring, as of last week, 80% of the group's members lived in Gaetz's congressional district. Oh boy. The group plans to call on Gaetz's colleagues in Congress to have the conservative lawmaker step aside until the investigation is completed. It is so odd. It's just like, why would you do that? Why you do that? Why you do that? Like, everybody's already really uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Okay, so in other news, a birth control pill for men could start human trials this year. The non-hormonal pill was 99% effective at preventing pregnancy in mice. Hey, hear that, everybody? Now, men can be slipped hormonal pills and non-hormonal pills. It's a whole new world. It's a brave new world, everybody. Wow. Scientists are still racing to create the first male contraceptive that isn't a condom or surgery. In new preliminary research, a team says they developed a non-hormonal form of male birth control, one that kept lab mice sterile for 4 to 6 weeks with seemingly no side effects. Early human trials of the pill are expected to begin by the end of next year. So there we go. Everybody's been waiting for, what was it, like something? It's like the one where you inject fluid into your vas deferens. It's like being developed in India for like 10 years or whatever, and it's supposed to like block, just sort of block that area, but it never really made it to human trials, I don't think. The proposed contraceptive is the product of researchers at the University of Minnesota, who says it works by targeting how our bodies interact with vitamin A, known to be essential to fertility in mammals. Diets deficient in vitamin A have been linked to sterility, for instance. Whoa. Wait. What? Vitamins are important? Wait, what? When did vitamins become so important? Next, they're going to be telling minerals are important too. Rocks. Come on. After a lengthy search, they found an experimental compound that blocks a protein responsible for binding to a form of vitamin A, retinoic acid, as you know, as everyone knows. Yeah, it's the retinoic acid receptor alpha, or RAR alpha. RAR alpha is one of 3 proteins with a similar function, and the hope is that its selective blocking is enough to induce long-lasting but reversible sterility while causing little to no off-target effects elsewhere. Beasts. Pretty cool. This is how I know, like, when people talk really confidently about science that they don't study, that they're, like, often full of shit. Like, whenever I, like, have to read something that's about a specific scientific discovery, I'm always like, how pronounce word? And I guess this is correct. I don't know enough to counter it, you know? I guess it's pronounced Raualpha. Like, so yeah, there's been other potential male birth controls, but for some reason, research can never figure it out. Interesting, huh? There's the real conspiracy. Where's the male birth control? Where's the... Why is there no male birth control yet? Yeah, exactly. 2019. What is happening? Look at all these swimmers, and they could just be in a pill. Everybody, it's called Jizz Asks. Come on. Oh no, Gizmodo. Okay, it's Giz. It's Giz. False alarm. Branding and marketing. All right, moving on. I almost don't want to get to our main segment because it's just so fucked up. It's so hard to look at directly. Just kind of like buying time till we have to get to our main segment. Just hyperventilating as I go through the different news pieces I have, and I'm like, oh no, we're running out of space. All right. Okay. Here's an exclusive from the Daily Dot. Say hi to the Donald for us. Florida police, Florida again. They briefed armed right-wing groups before they went to the January 6th protest. Cool. Normal country. Normal country, normaling. It's almost like, I don't know, the practice of deputizing? Deputizing just randos? Random white people, I should be very clear about saying. It's always just random white people with guns that are getting the deputization. Florida sheriffs, acting under the orders of a local politician, gave a security briefing to an armed right-wing group heading to the Capitol on January 6th, according to videos obtained by Daily Dot. The Flagger Liberty Coalition? Flagger? The Flagger Liberty Coalition recommended that its members pack body armor, mace, and knives, which they said were for protection, and were working with Flagler County Commissioner Joe Mullins to bring crowds to DC that day. All right, so it looks like maybe this is a typo. Mullins has faced criticism from his fellow local politicians for attending the protest that turned into the Capitol insurrection. Together, the group brought 3 buses of people? Bro, they're literally bussing in. They do be bussing. The briefing is one of the best publicly availables, illustrating connections in advance of January 6th between right-wing activists, pro-Trump protesters, MAGA politicians, and law enforcement. Flagler authorities, Mullins, and the FLC did not respond to requests for comment. After Daily Dot reached out, the FLC deleted all videos off YouTube referenced in the article. Okay, so I guess we don't get to watch it. Did they... It's gone. Dang. Oh, man. The video of the briefing was first taken by independent journalist Tracy Eaton and reviewed by the Daily Dot. Okay. The briefing is alternately absurd, banal, and telling. In one moment, a sheriff warns that Antifa will be at the college and that as a weapon, they're using fire. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Here we go.
Folks are about to get onto buses to go to Washington, D.C. to raise hell over the election.
That's right.
So I've got some folks here to talk to me, and so why don't we start with you, if you wouldn't mind telling me what you're hoping to accomplish during this.
Wow.
This
My
trip.
name is Nick DeSantis.
Nick DeSantis.
People we met through being Trump fans. We've been
Trump
together,
fans.
what, since 2016, right?
Yeah, around there.
We did all the flag waving down here. We belong to the Republican Party committee and yada yada yada. But we're going there. This is our Woodstock, as I like to call it.
That's right.
It's a time where we could share our love together and show the president how much we love him and how much we appreciate what he did, and also show.
Don't you ever disrespect me looking like some Florida dollar store version of William Shatner. You heard? Heard.
Is what they did wrong.
Heard, Chef.
Not
Heard.
listening to us, the majority of the people, and that's why we're going there.
Man, leftist camera angle.
So I'm going. I want to change the mind of everybody. They always say that all
Flagler for
wars,
Trump.
this and that. We all love God. We love our country and our family, and that is exactly why we're going.
Oh, yeah?
So do you think there's some misconceptions about Trump supporters?
You think?
What do
That's
you
all
think?
they say is how bad we are. We destroy things, and we're so violent.
They're not
Racist
violent,
and
everybody. She says on January 5th.
We've had things thrown at us, women yelling
we're
and
good people.
screaming at us, spitting on us, because we support
Bro.
Trump, but it's bigger than that. It's about our country. It's about our freedom. My grandfather was in the service, my brother, my dad, my whole family has served, and this is my way of serving. We are not backing down. I'm sick of their lies. Quit spreading lies.
The liars are lying, and they will continue lying until you believe the lie. As Shabibo would say.
Oh, amen. And God bless America. That's why we're standing here right now.
I'm just waiting for her to break out.
I feel like I have to go to Washington just to stay there and say that I support this president. Whether or not it changes anything, I'm skeptical, but I could
Right.
not sit at home and not be there.
Okay. I think we get an idea of what's going on. We might come back to that content, but yeah, honestly, I only got like an hour left. Holy cow. In one moment, a share. Oh yeah, that Antifa's gonna use fire. Antifa's bringing fire, buddy. The oldest weapon, the oldest and most powerful weapon. They're out of control. And one of the participants asked about going to the Capitol after Trump's speech. He is hushed and told that the group would speak about it later. Woo! That's actually kind of spicy. On the group's website, however, the intent to go to the Capitol that day was clearly marked, as an itinerary included walk to the Cap. They took notes on a criminal conspiracy. They took notes on a 1, 2, 3. Bro. Weather from Weather Channel for January 5th and 6th. Holy shit, they named and dated it. It's insane. Oh my god. I'm having a hard time here. And they put their logo on it. Shit. Yo, come on, this is something else. This is wild. They talked to a reporter about their plans, and they published a YouTube video and put up a document with their logo on it, the date, and their itinerary for going to the Capitol. Fantastic. This is awesome. This is amazing. Wow. And it also shows like the car drive to the ellipse, but then there's no like walking map. It's just sort of like left blank, but there's definitely like a 3 and a circle. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I guess there was a plan, everybody. Yet another claims the government will fry people's cell phones if they show up. The briefing occurred on January 5th when the Homeland Security Division of the Flagler County, Florida Sheriff's Office met with the FLC and other pro-Trump protesters about to leave for Washington. They said they were explicitly there on behalf of Mullins, who has been an outspoken supporter of Trump. Throughout the briefing, Mullins stands next to the officers. Later, Mullins is praised for supporting the trip. Someone notes that he paid for 2 of the 3 buses that were going up to D.C., and that he contributed a large donation to make the trip happen. Mullen said he was in touch with a congressman who would stand with the group in front of the Capitol for support and would be voting against certifying the election for Biden. Wow. Quote, DC's a dirty city, Lutz jokes at the onset, noting they have free hand sanitizer to pass out as part of COVID protections. District of criminals, one man responds. Lutz says that anarchists will attack people if they travel solo, warning them to stay in groups. He adds that if members are confronted with violence, they can defend themselves. Lutz goes on to say that Antifa members will, quote, sucker punch and kick you. It was all Antifa. In a related video, obtained by Daily Dot, FLC member Mark Phillips, who organized the trip along with Mullins, tells protesters to bring helmets, body armor, mace, pepper spray, and knives, and notes that some members of the group will be in fight mode. Wow. The video was filmed prior to Flagler police briefing the group. So right before, they're like, all right, everybody, bring knives and vests when we go to the Capitol. And, oh, hey, there's our buddies, the police. Let's catch up with them. In advance of the trip to DC, one of the principals of the group posted on Facebook that, quote, firing squads are the only way to unfuck the Republic. Okay. The group highlighted their trip to the Capitol with a number of videos of their bus ride. Wow, they're seen chanting, whose house? Our house, of course. Of course. This is a crazy story. This document, though, is so stupid. Alrighty, okay, moving on. We got just a short little piece here. Maybe it's a public freakout. How excited are we for that? Do we get to the main segment? All right, let's do it. We're getting to the main segment, everybody. Yeah, I don't know what music to put under this, because, wow. That's, something else. Louisiana hospital denies abortion for fetus without a skull. Normal news from normal country. Everybody isn't that swell? It's swell, right? Is that the word I'm looking for? Poggers, maybe? Based? What are the kids saying nowadays? At the beginning of July, Nancy Davis started feeling nauseous. The Baton Rouge resident considered COVID-19 or the flu, then decided to take a pregnancy test just in case. She saw the two blue lines denoting a positive and ran to the living room to tell her boyfriend. They were both elated, but their happiness was short-lived. At the first ultrasound at Women's Hospital, the largest birthing center in Louisiana, the technician looked troubled and left the room. A woman in a white coat entered. Davis knew that wasn't good. Don't you ever... Oh, wait, that was an old comment. The doctor pointed to the top of the head. There was no skull, she told Davis, an unsurvivable condition. The doctor tried to comfort her, saying this was one of the conditions that qualifies as an exception under the state's abortion laws. Davis, about 10 weeks into her pregnancy, was still heartbroken. There was nothing, quote, there's nothing I would have preferred more than to have this baby, said Davis, 36. Instead, she prepared herself to pay an estimated $5,000 for an abortion at the hospital. Yikes. But that's not what happened. Even after doctors at the hospital said they would provide an abortion once she got the diagnosis of acrania, a rare and fatal condition, from a specialist, the hospital called to tell her it would not be able to do it, she said. The hospital directed her to a Florida abortion clinic instead, or to carry the baby to term. Jesus. Medically futile. Davis's predicament illustrates the gray area in Louisiana's new abortion law and the administrative regulations that attempt to explain it to medical professionals and the public. They all but forbid abortion, except to save the life of the mother or when the fetus is medically futile, according to a list of conditions issued by the state. Acrania does not appear on the state's list of accepted conditions for abortion. Bro, did they forget to include it? It's in the, it starts with the letter A. It should be one of the first ones they include, no? How? The state also has a broad exception for any, quote, profound and irremediable congenital or chromosomal anomaly existent in the unborn child that is incompatible with sustaining life after birth in reasonable medical judgment. 2 physicians must sign off on the anomaly, but Women's still said it would not perform the abortion. What ghouls? What are you doing? Quote, in the absence of additional guidance, we must look at each patient's individual circumstances and remain in compliance with all current state laws to the best of our ability. They're afraid of getting sued. That's not how some doctors have interpreted the law. They just won't function. Acrania, quote to me, is synonymous with anencephaly, and it's on the list, said Dr. Cecilia Gambella, a maternal fetal medicine specialist at Tulane University School of Medicine, referring to another brain and spine defect. Quote, there is no skull. Gambella said that even if hospital attorneys were uncomfortable with giving the go-ahead for an abortion based on the acrania diagnosis, they could use the broad exception that the state allows for when a fetus is incompatible with life, and acrania, in Gambella's opinion, meets that description. Quote, babies can be born alive, they just won't function, Gambella said. Their heart may be beating, they can breathe, but they have no brain tissue to actually develop as far as comprehending what's happening or reacting to anything. Okay, let's move on. Guidance needed. Cases like this will become more common until there is more clarity surrounding the law, whether from legislation, additional guidance from the state health department, or litigation, said Matthew Brown, a New Orleans-based attorney specializing in healthcare law. Quote, the problem is very specific, and that's why the law doesn't address it. Nice. Good job, lawyers and politicians. Brown said the hospital may view the fetus as currently viable because acrania is not immediately fatal and there is still a heartbeat. That is just insane. That is insane. It also doesn't immediately endanger the life of the mother, except for the insane psychological risk. It's like pure psychic damage. It's like you destroy like, no mom's gonna survive that, man. No mom's gonna survive that. That's crazy. Come on. Wow. Quote, any pregnant woman at this point, even the ones who are hoping for a healthy child and planning to give birth, is facing additional uncertainty about how they're going to be cared for under bad circumstances because of this law. So, yeah. What a story. Wild. Absolutely stomach-churning stuff. And you're here for it. Now let's listen to a South Carolina representative, Neil Collins, moan about how women are suffering because of the fetal heartbeat law that he himself helped pass.
I'll move to my final comments then, Mr. Chairman. I voted for the pain-capable bill, the fetal heartbeat bill, and fetal heartbeat has been for 6 weeks now. The second week that the fetal heartbeat bill became law, a doctor called me out of Anderson. I live in Easley. A 19-year-old girl appeared at the ER. She was 15 weeks pregnant. Her water broke. And the fetus was unviable. The standard of care was to advise her that they could extract or she could go home. The attorneys told the doctors that because of the fetal heartbeat bill, because that 15-week-old had a heartbeat, the doctors could not extract. Wow. So their only choices were to admit the 19-year-old until that fetal heartbeat stopped. I asked, how long does it take to stop? She said, seconds, minutes, hours, maybe days. Or discharge. They discharged that 19-year-old. The doctor told me at that point, there's a 50% chance. Well, first, she's going to pass this fetus in the toilet. She's going to have to deal with that on her own.
Oh, man, I don't even know if I can do this. All right, fuck that. Fuck that. Nope. 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 Different story. Man, some people just got no chill. You want to keep hearing that? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh man, they butcher the reality and it lets them say such crazy fucking shit. All right.
The 19-year-old until that fetal heartbeat, seconds that 19-year-old first her own. There's a 50% chance, greater than 50% chance that she's going to lose her uterus. There's a 10% chance that she will develop sepsis and herself die.
Yep.
That weighs on me. I voted for that bill. These are affecting people.
Bro.
and we're having a meeting about this.
Bro.
It took that whole week. I did not sleep.
Good. Good. I hope you never sleep. You do not deserve it.
I followed up with the doctor a week later. She had heard nothing. Did not know about the 19-year-old.
Yikes.
Thank God I followed up. 2 weeks later, she did return to ER. They did extract the now non-beating fetus.
Right. Nice.
What we
Good
do
job.
matters.
It does matter. You're radically reshaping people's rights.
Thank you, Representative Collins.
Because of
One
your-
second, Mr. Chairman. I'm almost finished.
Wow.
Out of respect for the process, I'm not voting today. But I want it to be clear that myself and many others are not in a position to vote for this bill without significant changes to the bill.
Bro.
And
As Representative Newton said, if we pass this out as favorable, you'll have an opportunity on the House floor.
Cuts him off. Yo, absolute ghouls. Absolute ghouls. This was in the leopards eating faces subreddit, of course, because what is more leopards, the party of face-eating leopards, than a Republican voting for a heartbeat bill and then having to listen to his constituents tell him, yeah, this bad, this hurt people, this do bad. And then he has to be like, wake up, stay up all night. Oh no, oh God, geez, maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I don't understand that much about doctors. Yikes. Yeah, that's pretty rough, man. Okay, I've got some lighter content, and then we're gonna get back into the main segment. This is all the whet your appetite. So we got an editorial in the Globe and Mail. A highly contagious political virus is pouring over the Canada-US border. I've been considering doing like a proper YouTube video essay over the next few weeks on Viva Fry. I really want to try to figure out, and how's it going, Dan? I want to kind of figure out does he have an arc? Like, does he have an arc of starting out as reasonable and then becoming like unreasonable and conspiratorial? And is he like indicative of exactly this trend in the Globe and Mail, like of a contagious political virus? I'm really interested in this idea that certain messages are just like thought germs or like viruses. Okay, so let's listen to this. Sorry, I turned on the music. What happens in Vegas may stay in Vegas, but what happens in American politics does not remain in the United States. It drifts across the world's longest undefended intellectual border, and it falls like acid rain. Off to a great start. Prolonged exposure, too much MSNBC or Fox News, can lead to hallucinations, delusions, and loss of contact with Canadian reality. Voters and politicians are both susceptible to infection. And that's why you, base chatters who watch me on the YouTube or the Twitch, you get your news curated by a normal person who seems reasonable and intelligent enough, at least by your standards. Hooey. The Canadian left has caught more than a few American fevers. For example, the American progressives' left take on race, including placing it at the center of nearly all of social analysis, has been easily absorbed by libs and New Democrats alike. It is now fully part of the Canadian bloodstream. This is a really dumb take. I mean, race is at the center of our country ever since that white people came to this country and colonized all the indigenous folk. What the fuck is this take? Jesus. I mean, one of the least examined aspects of Canadian society is a race-based lens. So it's for good reason that we've absorbed this perspective. Terrible take. The fact that America's past and present are different than Canada's, not the opposite, not the same, tends to go unknown and unacknowledged. Yeah, mostly because it's like splitting hairs on how racist our country is. It's like nobody enjoys having that conversation. Yeah, America might be more racist, but like Canada's not the bastion we often paint ourselves to be. The party most at risk from cross-border emissions these days is the Conservative Party, of course. There's a lot of crazy in American politics right now, and the majority of it is coming from the people that conservatives think of as their American cousins. The Republican Party is increasingly going off the deep end. Once the party of law and order and small government, it now often sounds like the party of anti-law, disorder, and no government. Democratic President Joe Biden's first year and a half in office has seen Republicans demonstrate this in two ways. The GOP agenda has been almost entirely about obstruction. The Inflation Reduction Act, the watered-down bill to reduce climate emissions and enhance healthcare, passed with 0 Republican votes. Awesome. New ideas. That's because small government impulses of the OGOP have been replaced by something closer to no government impulses. What does it want to do about millions of Americans who can't afford healthcare? Nothing. What about climate change? Deny it. School shootings? Arm the teachers. COVID-19? Just get over it. There's actually a thread I didn't actually pull up in this, and it was, I think, oh my god, it was like an anti-work thread, and it was somebody moaning and complaining about how they were being told by their district supervisor that if they weren't willing to put their lives on the line as teachers, then they could find another job. Like, can you imagine complaining about that? What privilege, am I right? Teachers thinking they don't have to put their lives on the line to educate the next generation. What a crazy scenario. Those silly teachers. They're so silly sometimes. And on Law and Order, its transformation has been even more extreme. The party has become unrecognizable. Okay, so yada 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 yada. We're gonna talk about, the coup d'etat. The Republican Party isn't correcting course. It isn't returning to normalcy and legality. Election denialism has become almost mandatory, and even politicians who would rather see Mr. Trump ride off into the sunset feel compelled to defend him against any and all accusations. The party appears to no longer believe in the rule of law or democracy. I think it was David Froome who is hilariously wrong on almost everything, but this time maybe he's right. He said, if conservatives cannot win at democracy, they won't leave conservatism, they'll leave democracy. And that was a pretty prescient take like 10 years ago or whenever he said it. He also thought the Iraq War was based. So, David Froome, everybody. Once upon a time, Canada's conservatives had a natural defense mechanism against being overly influenced by any of that. The party was anti-American, proudly so. Conservatives sometimes called themselves the party that created Canada, and that's no idle boast. But what they need to remember, or perhaps hear for the first time, is that the reason Sir John A. and co. wanted to confederate provinces was to prevent this country from being swallowed up by the foreign entity to the south. That impulse remained at the center of Canadian conservatism until the 1980s. Yay, Reaganism. American and neoliberalism. Globalization. American politics and American culture were, until relatively recently, what conservative Canadians were trying to guard against. There were a lot of things to criticize about this earlier version of Canadian conservatism, but it did at least mean that conservatives and conservatives, capital C, of previous eras were acutely aware that Canada was the other country created out of 1776, and that it had progressed and survived through evolution and compromise, not violent revolution. Well, I mean, Aboriginal folk might, Indigenous folk might see white colonizers as particularly revolutionary. Again, I'm going to disagree with this take. But I do agree with this take. Like the younger brother, older brother dynamic. Many political analysts worried that if the Conservative Party's next leader to be elected September 10th, based. That's going to be a fun day. If the Conservative Party's next leader adopts the resentment-based politics of the Trump GOP, then the party is doomed to failure. We worry about something different, that it might succeed. It is, after all, working down south. Is it working now, though? Trump just got raided by the FBI. So good. Oh, this is by the editorial board. Oh, wow. That comes with way more weight. Holy cow. This is the Globe and Mail saying, hey everybody, our politics and rhetoric do be getting fooked. And speaking of which, they're not wrong. Look at this story. F off, you F-wads, Peterborough mayor says to QAnon followers who tried to arrest police. We were checking this out the other day. We got some clips of like a screaming banshee. I think we even got like an image, a clip of her face screaming. I might want to make into an emote. And like people generally fighting and being rude and yeah, not good. Politicians usually regurgitate perfectly safe cliched sound bites, and there's Peterborough Mayor Diane Terrier threw caution and convention to the wind when commenting on a wild scene that took place in Peterborough over the weekend. Followers of Canadian QAnon figure Romana Digiulo, you mean the Queen of QAnon? The Queen of Canada? They tried and miserably failed to arrest Peterborough police officers for their role in Canada's rollout of COVID vaccines. Quote, people have been asking me to comment on the events of the past week in Peterborough, Tyrion tweeted. I hate giving airtime spotlight to these imbeciles. Here's my comment. F off, you F-bots. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a pretty base tweet. It's pretty great. I love how nowadays news stories are just like covering tweets. QAnon-inspired protest in Peterborough, Ontario prompts investigation. So, that's going well. That's going well. This is a real, like, how it started, how it went in segment. Ontario's civilian police watchdog is investigating an arrest in Peterborough on Saturday that resulted in serious injuries during a QAnon-inspired protest, what is becoming another example of far-right conspiracy theories having real-life consequences in Canada. A few dozen people had gathered outside this city's police station after an appeal from a QAnon conspiracy theorist who purports to be the Queen of Canada for citizens to arrest local officers. Protester Timothy Claudio said he was taken into custody after he and others sought to place members of the Peterborough Police Service under citizens' arrest. That is such a confused. Imagine trying to place a police. That's white people shit. Like, I'm gonna go out and arrest the police. Who does that? How invulnerable do you think you are? Like, that's. I am 14 years old and nothing can hurt me energy. The 55-year-old man who also attended Freedom Convoy protests in Ottawa earlier this year, Freedom, is now alleging police used excessive force. He said he suffers from a punctured lung and 4 broken ribs. Wow. None of which were, in his words, part of our plan. Well, if you resist arrest and you get injured, you know, I'm pretty sure the court might not look too kindly, but a punctured lung, that's pretty serious. I don't know. Quote, that's why it's called a peaceful, lawful citizen's arrest, because we're tired of the tyranny within the Corporation of Canada. Oh, yes. Oh, it's one of those. Is there like a no gold fringe on our Canadian flag or something? 3 people were arrested. Police charged him with 2 counts of assaulting police. Yikes. That's game over. Usually if you get a charge like that, it's not a good situation. Yeah, and here's some of the mayhem. Crazy. There's an interview. But it's written interview. I don't feel like read. I'm not gonna read the interview. I'm sorry, everybody. Not happening. Instead, we're gonna look at Mark Zuckerberg's very hip, happening metaverse. Everybody, there's France and Spain. You want to go? The ticket price is a VR set, which is just a couple $1,000s, and a computer powerful enough to run it. Thankfully, graphics cards have come down, so you could probably get a 4 GB graphics card for like $500-600. So that'll run you like maybe $2,500. You can go there to France and Spain. Soon the planet will reclaim Florida for the deep. Soon, like Cthulhu's just gonna come out. Bought a Meta Quest 2 for $400. What's a Meta Quest? I mean, Meta is Facebook, so. Oh boy, 64 gigs. Whew, $400. That's pretty good. It's really cheap. It's really cheap. Dang. Bone Lab. Finally! NFL Pro Era. But what games can you play on it? That's the real question. Reality Labs? You gotta use Quest system software? MetaQuest 2 games. Beat Saber, based. Resident Evil 4, based. Walking Dead, lame. Moss, lame. Rec Room, super hot, based. Bone Lab? I just love the name. Is that it? Mist. Star Wars. Half-Life, Alex, okay. Ghostbusters. Five Nights at Freddy, based. Pro Era. Dang. I don't have the money for that. I'm sorry, chat. I do not have the money for a Meta Quest 2. I spent all my money on my new mic so I could sing songs for you. Yeah, this was the tweet that really did it for me. A tale of two metaverses. Like, look at the difference in quality. I'm pretty sure, like, the article just sort of... It's a nice party gadget. Yeah, absolutely. You don't really use it that much, Dan? There's no games you have that, like, really excite you or whatever? I think in the Folding Ideas video, which you should absolutely watch if you ever have ungodly amount of time on your hands. It's a fantastic video. It's 2 hours long, but it's incredible. It's a masterpiece. It's the problem with NFTs. And in there, at some point, he talks about the problem with metaverses and how, especially with the way that Facebook is going about it, it's just a space for people to sell, to sell themselves, to sell their space, to try to like gamble on virtual real estate. It's all just a grind. Yeah, Beat Saber seems like a lot of fun, but I feel like that game will get old really fast. Like, it's one of those games where eventually you get pretty good at it and it's just flashing lights and rhythm. So the article sort of makes the point that metaverses already sort of exist, but like in Fortnite and like, what is this shit? Like, it looks so cringe. Like mega cringe. More cringe than I'm honestly willing. Yeah, here we go. The real metaverses, or the closest thing to them, are existing large-scale games that have existed for years, and you can make the case that places like Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, or even GTA Online, absolutely GTA 5, like the roleplay scene there is really, really tight, that these places are far closer to a traditional vision of the metaverse than anything Zuckerberg or blockchain must have come up with. It looks so bad, and of course Neil Tyson is there to hawk it. Oh god, no. Kotaku also took a shot at Zuckerberg. Says its soulless metaverse avatar has me worried about our digital future. It looks terrible. Oh, it looks so bad. What is happening? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. All right, are we ready to get to the main segment, everybody? Are we ready for this? I'm slightly ready. I have like half an hour before I gotta go. There's a big community of poets getting together and organizers that I can't miss. So let's get to the main segment. Florida court rules 16-year-old not mature enough to get an abortion. Uh-huh. It's true. This is a real story that definitely did happen. The court did not seem to recognize that it's also going to require plenty of maturity for a parentless teen pursuing a GED to give birth and raise a child. A Florida appellate court, an appeals court. And we'll cover that. I actually have a news segment from like 6 months ago that is like, this woman has won in appeals because of this really messed up court decision that said that she can't get an abortion. But thank goodness she has an appeal. It's definitely one of those like how it started, how it's going. A Florida appellate court ruled on Monday that a 16-year-old girl had, quote, not established clear and convincing evidence that she was mature enough. You know, that's standard. She was not mature enough to decide if she wanted an abortion. Instead, the state will force her, against her will, to have a child at 16 years old. Yeah. Okay. Normal news from normal country, everybody. Appellant, here's the actual court doc. Let's see this. Appellant, a minor, wishes to terminate her pregnancy. She appeals the trial court's dismissal of her petition, seeking judicial waiver of the parent legal guardian notice and consent provisions under section yada statutes. The trial court found, based on the non-adversarial presentation below, that appellant had not established by clear and convincing evidence that she was sufficiently mature to decide whether to terminate her pregnancy. She is in court, my guy. She is in court, arguing to an appeals court. That means she's gone to court twice. How is that? I don't know how to go to court, and I'm a grown-ass man. Like, what the fuck? The teen, who is, quote, is almost 17 years old and parentless. That's right. She's an orphan. She lives with a relative, but, quote, has an appointed guardian, according to the appeal decision. She had previously gone to court to seek an exemption from a law that would require consent from a parent or guardian to obtain the procedure, which was not granted. The teen informed the court that while her guardian was fine with her obtaining the procedure, they had never provided the required waiver, so they didn't sign the piece of paper. Oh my word. Pleading the case, the teen argued to the court that she was not ready to become a parent. According to court documents, she was pursuing her GED, quote, with involvement in a program designed to assist young women who have experienced trauma in their lives, and that the father of the fetus, quote, is unable to assist her. Why isn't the court ruling that the man, we're just gonna ignore this part? He gets away scot-free? He just gets to move on with his life? Like, what the In the original trial, the judge found that the girl, quote, showed at times that she is stable and mature enough to make this decision and acknowledges she is not ready for the emotional, physical, or financial responsibility of raising a child, and that her concerns about raising a child are valid. She doesn't have parents, which means she probably doesn't have grandparents to, like, watch over the kid as she works 2 jobs or whatever to pay off hospital bills. Like, what is this? The judge still chose to reject the petition, saying that the court found the minor, quote, may be able at a later date to adequately articulate her requests. Oh my god. Absolutely monstrous. I don't understand. The appellate court ruled on Monday that the girl had not sufficiently proven that she was mature enough to obtain an abortion, and upheld the requirement of approval from a guardian to obtain the abortion. The decision means that if the teen is unable to secure the waiver, she will most likely become a parent, a task that the court does not seem to recognize as requiring an immense amount of maturity. That's the part that I'm just really struggling with. Florida is among the 6 states that require healthcare providers to notify and seek consent from parents or legal guardians if a minor attempts to obtain abortion services. Like this is that meme that's like, I think you forgot to ask for somebody's consent. It's like the parents, that's who we forgot to ask. Advocates for reproductive autonomy argue that these sorts of laws can endanger the health and well-being of teens and young people seeking abortions. According to the ACLU, 61% of young women discuss the decision to have an abortion with at least one of their parents. Those who do not consult a parent do so in order to protect themselves from things like expulsion from their home, emotional or physical abuse, or already experiencing volatility in their home and family life. What a fun... Whew! What a fun story, everybody! Here's the same story, but from CNN. Here's the news story from February. This should be quite a ride. Really shaming her for not telling her that she was doing poorly in school? Come on.
Previous rule GPA.
Bro, that is some horseshit. Grades are dumb. Grades are nonsense.
In a 2-1 decision issued January 18th, Judge Daryl Casanueva wrote for the...
Oh my god. This woman is going to be forced... This girl, excuse me, is going to be forced to give birth to a child she doesn't want because she did poorly on a biology exam. Like, it's literally that stupid. And this is how it's going. My goodness. My goodness.
A pregnant 16-year-old in North Florida may be forced to give birth after an appeals court ruled just this week she is not, quote, mature enough to get an abortion.
This has become the latest flash.
Fucking just straight to jail. We can't keep going like this. You can't do that. You can't do that to people. You can't get them to make arguments in court and then tell them they're not mature enough and force them to do something traumatic and give birth to a baby that they are then responsible for the rest of their life. You can't do it. People are going to find out. You're doing it in the open. It's a court. It's public. Do the judges think that people aren't going to freak the F out?
Point in a state divided over access to abortions. West 2's Marlene Martinez spoke with abortion rights supporters and opponents who weighed in on the ruling.
Michelle Herzog started her Wednesday like she does most days, standing outside a women's clinic that provides abortions.
These are crimes against humanity.
Oh my God, it's so
standing
insane.
outside a women's clinic
Look at
that
this.
provides.
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Talk about some emotional manipulation, man. These people are not okay. Not okay. She's a white lady holding up an image of a black kid saying those words, and it's like a reference to some Christian thing. Oh, come on. No, that's hitting on way too many levels. Straight to jail.
It's abortions.
These are crimes against humanity. I want rights restored to the unborn, which would
They never had them in the first place, so what are you restoring?
obliterate abortion.
Herzog is the director of Pro-Life Action Ministries Central Florida. She says she absolutely supports a Florida court's decision this week to deny a 16-year-old an abortion. On Monday, an appeals court in North Florida issued this decision, saying the pregnant teenager was not, quote, mature enough to decide whether to terminate her pregnancy. This comes after the teen initially went to an Escambia County Circuit judge last week, 10 weeks pregnant, saying she is not ready to have a baby, doesn't have a job, is still in school, and the father is unable to help her.
In Florida, people under 18 need written consent from a parent or legal guardian to get an abortion. The young woman doesn't have parents, so she's asking the court to bypass that requirement.
But the first judge denied her request, and the appellate court sided with that initial judge.
The appellate court cited that initial judge who's like, yeah, you didn't tell me about that C that you got in biology, so if you're not honest about your grades, you don't deserve control over your own body. That's, I guess, the logic. I don't understand. It's school. You're supposed to be able to make mistakes. What?
A teenager is going to school, they have to get parental consent to even take an aspirin. They are not considered mature enough to take an aspirin on their own.
Which is an example of how insane you guys have gotten. Like, what are you talking about?
So in my opinion, they are certainly not mature enough to have an abortion.
And that's probably to prevent like suicides and stuff. You don't want like a kid chugging a bottle or taking like the wrong dosage on your watch. Like that's actually probably a problem.
Wednesday,
we will not back down.
The Florida Democrats voiced their outrage.
So she's not mature enough to say, I'm not ready to parent, but apparently she's mature enough to be forced to give birth.
Yep.
And that is the anti-freedom reality of Florida.
Democratic.
Where can I get a freedom? Can I get a freedom? Where's a freedom when you need it? Where's somebody shouting the word freedom on a street corner? Because that's what we need right now. We need more people shouting freedom at each other for shit like this.
State Representative Anna Escamani calls this the latest move in a state where Republicans are further restricting reproductive rights. In April, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a 15-week abortion ban into law. And earlier this month, he suspended a state attorney who vowed he would not criminalize women who seek abortions.
That was wild. And this guy put out like a big post that we read on stream. Like, I'm being politically targeted, and this is DeSantis's Florida. It was actually pretty... it was pretty worrying. You don't... Yeah, not a good sign.
Our governor calls us the freest state in the union, and yet we are taking away the freedoms of our constituents through these policies.
In Orlando, Marlene Martinez, West 2 News.
Now, we have reached out to Governor Ron DeSantis' office today for his response. We have not yet heard back.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, of course not. Okay, same story from different source, ABC this time.
The newest battle over abortion rights in this country after Roe versus Wade was overturned. The new firestorm tonight in Florida involving the case of a 16-year-old girl arguing she should be allowed a waiver to get an abortion. The court denying that request. And ABC's Victor Kendo from Florida now.
Tonight, a 16-year-old girl is now at the center of the debate over abortion in this country in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. She's pleading in a Florida court to get an abortion, but an appellate court upholding a lower court's ruling that the girl is not sufficiently mature enough to terminate her pregnancy. The teen, referred to as Jane Doe 22B in court documents, was 10 weeks pregnant. She's described as parentless, living with a relative, and has...
It's like, she's she's a ward of the state, and definitely has had a hard knock in life. So let's punish her more.
As a state-appointed guardian, she's asked the judge to waive.
The state is literally forcing someone that that's one of their wards to give birth. Like, are they worried about population? Is this how you grow the society? You just start forcing all the wards of the state to have babies? Like, what is this? This is quite literally, actually, the more you think about that, like, isn't that sort of the main premise of Gilead, is that this state is asserting direct control over women's reproductive rights? This is kind of like that, except it's worse in that it's like the judiciary is signing off on the executive's insane logic, insane law that they passed.
The state's parental notification and consent requirements for minors, arguing she is sufficiently mature and is not ready to have a baby, adding her guardian supported her decision. Retired Florida Judge Jerry B. Cohen was not involved in these legal proceedings, but presided over countless cases like this over her career.
If she's forced to carry a child to term that she does not feel she has the emotional, physical, or financial capability to do, that could be extremely traumatizing.
Yeah, the girl, who doesn't have a job and is studying for her GED, can make her case again, but time is of the essence. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed a 15-week abortion ban into law this year. And as for that 16-year-old girl, a dissenting judge saying that if she is able to come back to court and adequately articulate her request, she may still be able to get a waiver for an abortion. David?
So the one sane judge is like, yeah, maybe there's a way we can make this work. You just gotta use the right set of magic words. We can't divine what you want, just say it better and say it again. It's like, what more do you want? She's growing a human inside her body that she does not want. Every single day is like probably extremely traumatic. There's like a bunch of cognitive dissonance going on there. Like, you want to love the child, but it's going to destroy your life. Like, the father already said he won't take care of it. Like, come on.
Florida judge says a pregnant 16-year-old is not mature enough for an abortion and thus should have her child and become a mother. Court of Appeals agreed with the judge in Florida. The teenager is not established by clear and convincing evidence that she is sufficiently mature to decide whether to terminate her pregnancy. This is the 3-judge panel from the Florida Appeals Court. At the time of her case, she was 10 weeks pregnant and parentless in Florida, where abortion is legal up until 15 weeks.
I love how they're like avoiding the word orphaned and they're all using this weird word parentless. Like, have you met people who use that word? We use the word orphan.
Davis worked in the White House counsel's office under President Trump. Obviously, you feel for everybody in a case like this in so many different ways. At some point, though, how are Republicans going to justify, when obviously this is going to become an attack ad, that a woman is mature enough to have a kid and not mature enough to decide if she should have an abortion or not?
This looks bad, everybody.
Well, so I think we have to back up a little bit and remember that parental notifications and parental consent laws are extremely popular. So 64% of voters agree that minors should get parental consent or have parental notification, and only 25% oppose that.
That's real, like, grandparent energy. Ain't no way you gonna keep me from my grandkid. I demand you give birth to my future progeny.
There's some undecided there, and 35 states have these types of laws. And Florida's especially, this has been on the books since 2005. So if somebody's got a problem with the law, they really need to take it up with Jeb Bush, who signed it. This is
Please clap.
not some sort of new Roe versus Wade thing. You know, this is really coming out now to attack Republicans, but none of this is new. Massachusetts has a parental consent law. But, you know, I think that Republicans really need just like the maturity line is one that the Supreme Court has set, because they said that, yes, minors do have rights under Roe versus Wade, but abortion is not always in the best interest of a minor. And I think that that's true. And if Republicans can't explain why abortion is sometimes not in a minor's best interest, then yeah, Republicans deserve to lose. But I think that's a pretty easy case to make.
I'm thinking.
This is how you know you're listening to some right-wing spin. Oh my God. Oh my God.
But this is from the dissenting judge's opinion. The teenager insisted she is sufficiently mature to make the decision, saying she's not ready to have a baby, doesn't have a job, is still in school, and the father is unable to assist her. We can argue back and forth that this 15 weeks is a Ron DeSantis law, on and on and on. You can just see this, though, becoming an issue in November. Already abortion.
How do you read those words and think election politics and not, this is an unusual thing for a human to go through against their will? Like, that's my first thought. What is this poor girl being forced to undergo? It's like, imagine bringing up like, oh, the attack ads that they're going to make from this. It makes us look so bad, everybody.
Is not been helpful to Republicans on the ballot. I'm thinking about Kansas. How worried are those who were so excited when the Dobbs decision came down, overturning Roe? Now, like, from an election standpoint, this may not work out so well.
Wow, what a take. What a take. Hey, we got what we wanted. There was the dog that caught the car, but oh geez, all these people are getting hurt that are direct constituents, and I'm having all these stories sent to me. We watched that South Carolina representative who's like breaking down in the legislature, being like, guys, this ain't it. This ain't it, chief. You know, like, I know I voted for it, but I guess I didn't read it or didn't think about it too hard.
You know, I don't think it's time for concern. I think even if, let's just take this case, for example, the reason I don't think that this case makes a very good attack ad is that, and you can see from this concurrence dissent opinion, the minor went in at 10 weeks to ask the court whether she didn't want to notify her parents at all. Can't find the parents, doesn't have a legal guardian, that type of thing.
Yeah, the orphan. The orphan had a hard time finding her parents. Yeah, that tends to happen.
And the court basically saw that she had originally wanted to keep her baby, and then now she decided she didn't. She had had a recent death of a friend, and so the court didn't say, you may never have an abortion. The court said, it kind of seems like you're not ready to make this decision.
So because she flip-flopped a little bit, they're questioning her maturity?
Today, now, right now. So why don't you come back? You've got more than a month, right? You've got 15 weeks, you're at 10 weeks.
So the court baited her. They're like, it's no big deal. You don't have to decide right now. You know, you seem a little unsure. You seem like you don't really want it. Do you really want it? I'm not convinced you want it. You know, as a male judge, like.
So that type of thing, I think, is extremely beneficial, because here's the worst case scenario. She decides she wants to abort the baby on a Tuesday, aborts the baby on a Wednesday, and on Thursday decides she wants to keep the baby.
That is not the worst case scenario, you absolute cretin. The worst case scenario is that she's going to be forced to give birth to a child against her will. That's the worst case scenario, because it's endlessly traumatic. It lasts for the rest of your life. You have someone who you might feel resentment towards, who you have to take care of, or you might have to become like orphan them because you like get to put them into adoption services. And then, you know, imagine the trauma of being an orphan with no parents, having to give up your one and only child. And then, oh, come on, man. The right-wing spin, man. It's so psychotic. The worst possible thing is that you might regret your abortion.
Well, guess what? You've already aborted the baby. And so on Thursday, she has committed what she considers now to be murder.
I guess the question, May, is how...
That's ghoulish stuff, man. That is some ghoulish stuff.
How can Republicans live in a world, right, where they are denying choice to women, even very early in a pregnancy, when if you want to flip the polling around, abortion very early in pregnancy also polls very well, or the right to it.
Right. I do think you're right. So, there's kind of a switch that flips for Americans around 12, 13-ish weeks. That's around where Europe is. So I think that for Republicans,
You know that like even the Taliban has better, like currently, if you start comparing the laws in Afghanistan that are being like enforced by the Taliban right now on abortion and compare that to certain states with like absolutely no exceptions for rape or incest, it's literally worse than America than in than under the rule of the Taliban, everybody. Like that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Republicans to defend very, very early laws, 6-week bans earlier than that. It is tough. It's tough. And, that's why I don't actually see the trend moving in that direction. I think you actually will see the trend moving maybe a little bit more cautious now that, you see what voters.
The elections have consequences. And
these people, man, all they can think about is maintaining the power grab that they stole.
In both in terms of results and in terms of policies going forward. Hey, May, we always appreciate the nuanced conversation.
There's something particularly ghoulish that a lot of these, like this new legal framework, it exists because they pushed through Amy Covid Barrett against the express death wishes of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG. Like literally, she's like, please do not elect a Supreme Court justice before the election. I am dying. I am a symbol of feminism, of like equality and equality. Please don't do this. They did it, and now there's like this new hellscape. This absolute ghoulish country. Yikes. Meanwhile, based Prime Minister of Finland, Sanna Marin, is just trying to live her best life, even though she's now being asked to take a drug test following a party video. There's a video of her program not available abroad. Damn. So there's a video of her having a little too much fun, and now people want to investigate her. Prime Minister Sanna Marin has said she's willing to take a drug test if necessary in response to accusations that references to drugs were made at a party she attended. Quote, I have nothing to hide. I've never taken drugs, she said. Marin's comments come after opposition Finns party chair Riikka Purra called on her to voluntarily take a drug test during an interview with Helsingin Sanomat. A similar call was made on Twitter. Another MP from Marin's coalition party's the Centre Party. Speaking to journalists at an airport where she was attending her party's summer congress, Marin said she did not understand why there were calls for her to take a drug test. Quote, I have seen no evidence that anything has been used anywhere, she said. Videos of the Prime Minister partying with various Finnish celebrities and public figures have spread through social media. Let's watch. Finn Prime Minister partying. Yeah, that was easy. I think she's just going to be living her best life. Probably a bad idea to do this as a prime minister. I'm gonna go with definitely a bad idea. Yeah, not a good look. You're a leader of a nation. You look trashed. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say that's not a good look. I'm happy you live in your best life, but if you're leading a country, probably want to keep a tight control on how people see you. It's definitely, that's actually pretty tempting. But whatever, she's having fun, as long as it didn't affect her work, I guess, right? Yeah, I don't know, everybody. Okie dokes. I think. Je pense que c'est tout là. Je pense que ça va être tout I hope you had a lovely one. I hope you had a good time. I'm gonna end the stream early because I gotta go do mature things like network with other community organizers, try to build up. Leaders are not allowed to have fun. I mean, usually outside of the public eye, Dan Dufour, you know, like you don't want somebody who's trying to direct the military, let's say, being shown to, I don't know. Remember when Boris Yeltsin, everybody made fun of him for being like an absolute drunkard? People wouldn't pay attention to his orders. Like it was a big problem. He was widely ridiculed in the international community. Wasn't taken seriously at all. Like, I mean, there are definitely some minuses to being to partying a bit hard. But anyways, thanks so much for hanging out. This has been a lovely, awesome stream. I gotta go work on poetry stuff. Got a big show coming up first Saturday. I'm working on trying to stream it so y'all can see the hype slam. It's gonna be a bilingual poetry slam. It's gonna be really cool. Dans le basement. So very hype, very vibin'. Gonna go meet with some community organizers, see what's up, and then probably work on some tracks, work on some music today, and any errands. I'm working on some music to share with y'all, some lovely Tom Waits, and I'm thinking maybe today I start learning that Alex Jones indie song. That could be fun, huh? Could be fun. You know, the one I play at the beginning of every stream. But thanks so much again for the sub, Odin1414, and yeah, I hope y'all had a lovely day. There's actually, man, there's like 6 of y'all in here. Let's try to find someone to raid. You know, why the heck not? Usually my audience is split between YouTube and Twitch, so most of y'all seem to be over here in Twitch. So let's find a cutie to raid. We could raid Lucid Fox, which is always fun times. Who else we got? Who else we got here? Definitely not Trainwrecks, and probably not Mike from PA. Yeah, let's raid Lucid Fox. Lucid Fox is pretty much incredible content. Just always great content. So yeah. Oh man, only allows in-network raids. Oh, he doesn't let me raid him anymore. Oh, no shot. Wow, I can't even raid him. Interesting. Oh, wow. Yeah, it actually... Oh, okay, well, there you go. I'm too small for Lucid Fox, everybody, so you're going to have to bump those numbers up so we can actually raid streamers that we like, and I can send you off to hype content. But that's it for today. I'll try to work in a music and poetry stream this week, just to keep me on top of my game. But I'll be here tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye. Have a good one. See you later. Do something nice for someone else. And maybe, I don't know. What's another sweet thing to do? Do something nice for yourself, even if it's just a nice thought. All right. I'm out.